something great is emerging from the inside of you, and it's going to stand out and look at you and go, thanks. But you got to let it come out first. You got to trust that you're created as a masterpiece for great things, multiple things.
Welcome to the place where we hear empowering stories of transformation, and then we turn that into art that reminds us to be great. I am your host and artist, Jessica James, and this is the I Empower Podcast. I'm so excited to have you back on, Tamika. It has been, I went back and looked, it has been right at a year since you were on my podcast. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
so
yeah. I gotta show you off.
Yes.
And the work. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You actually, for those who are wondering, season 1, episode 7, about a year ago, I had the privilege of talking to Miss Tamika Wells, and she shared her story of being a single mother and raising a young black man in the South, and we talked about the struggles and how she was able to overcome that. And then, through the podcast, but also through our connection that we had, we've just remained really good friends, like even say best friend. And I've had the honor of being able to watch you blossom even more so much throughout the year. You have a lot of great things that are coming up, and you have done a lot of great things. And I just want to talk about them all. And yeah, oh my gosh. So thank you for being back on with me today.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. We got to do our breakfast date again soon.
Yes,
I know. So
I know. I was thinking about that when I texted you. I was like, "Hey, will you be a guest again on my podcast?" I know I had to reschedule our last breakfast date, but come be with me today on the air.
Yeah. No problem. Either way, because we always have great conversations and we spawn each other to more creativity and helping others. So even with your husband Dylan, the same thing. I just want to piggyback and shout him out. Dylan James is an amazing friend. It really. It feels like it's taken so long to pivot from grocery delivery, Honeybee Grocery Delivery, and into Coach Elevate Her and Honey Tree Healing and the poetry book that's coming out. But he was a major catalyst in that, and saying, Tamika, Honeybee Delivery is not going to pay these bills. That that nice car you have. He's like, your story. He said, your story is what's going to, pay for that. And, you really need to be telling your story. Look at who you are. At the time, I was in a narcissistic relationship and didn't know it. And I was determined to drive up to Virginia to see this guy, but really didn't want to see him. I wanted to impact his daughter, and encourage her, and she was being bullied. And he was like, so you are going to drive an hour and a half to see a 14-year-old while you got to deal with this, narcissistic monster, right. To show her, your ugly duckling photo albums of pictures of how you struggled at her age and with your looks and stuff. And now look at you and she finds you so beautiful. He's like, that's who you are. That's what you should be doing. And so now the pivot, I was able to close the one business in October and launch multiple businesses since then. And it's just this feels so much better. Scary, but it feels so much better. So thank you guys for being friends that speak truth. Even, what you helping with the book cover and being honest about the impact of my face being on it versus not. We need those kind of friends in our lives that will be totally honest with us and push us into greatness.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know. I have so many things that I want to talk to you about, but since we're on the book cover, and you have a poetry book that is being released. Tell me when?
Soon. Hopefully by August.
Soon.
I'll say August.
Yes.
Yeah. We had, my editor got sick and she's got a family. Yeah. And she's so wonderful that it's just what? We as women know what it's like to work in corporate and jobs, and they're saying, cut your leg off and get back to work. You're like, but my toe is swollen. So what? Cut it off. Get back to work. What's wrong with you? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Limp to the kitchen and cook. Stand on one leg. And it's just baby, if you don't feel good, take your time, because when we upload everything to Amazon and
Yeah.
All the behind the scenes that go into that, we want it to be done in excellence, and also I want her to be well. So
Right, most definitely. And I really truly believe that everything happens for a reason and in its timing when it needs to. So maybe the universe was just like, I know you're so ready to get this out, but I'm gonna put a hold on it for a minute so that we can, work through things, and then it's
yeah.
all gonna be amazing. But yes, I'm so excited for that. And you have been sharing a lot of like what's in the book, right? On
Hmm.
YouTube and all the social media. So you can get a taste of what the book is
TikTok.
about.
Yeah, yeah. And there's more to come. It's just
Yeah.
it's Into the Soulful Woman. It's a poetic journey from tragedy to triumph. And it is to kind of say me too. There was a
Yeah.
lot of things I've been through from my 20s to my into my 40s now, and it's like when 2020 hit, and in that conversation with friends like Dylan and you, it's like, oh no, I need to speak. I need to speak up. I need to share. And I need to be honest and very vulnerable and transparent about what I went through in parenting, what I go through in business, what I go through in my childhood with, a parent that had mental illness and her death, and having to be strong for my son, grieving. And people need to learn how to grieve and heal in a healthy way. And so I have a
Yes.
poem called Sad Day, where you just take a day or whatever you need to regroup. And then there's another one called Good Grief. So the unfortunate tragedy of losing Kobe Bryant and his daughter triggered that poem, Good
Yeah.
Grief. Charlie Brown would go, Good grief, Charlie Brown, good grief. And
Yeah.
it's like, is grief good? What is it good? And from my experiences of losing so many loved ones in my 20s and 30s, I realized it can be, it is. So when 2020 hit and we started losing millions of people through to COVID, and we're losing jobs, we're losing relationships, people are divorcing, people are remarrying, people are losing
Hmm.
children, and just the regular cares of life going on. And it's like, how do we process, how do we, be human instead of being human beings, and just breathe through those experiences in a healthy way. So those poems are there to give people permission. The whole book is to give
Yeah.
people and women permission to feel what they feel. I have a poem on anger. I've been to anger management twice.
Yeah.
So there's
No,
one that
I
talks
mean,
about being in
openness.
jail. I went to jail for a
Yeah.
domestic violence relationship I was in. It was mutual, but he lied and told the police that he didn't do anything. So I had to spend 48 hours in Guilford County Jail. And
Nice.
people see me, I know, right? And people see me as a goody goody, but these are the things that I'm sharing. It's like, no, this is the human experience, and this is how I made it through, and you can too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just listening to all this, and I feel like your book has. It's probably safe to say that there are so many different touch points that someone can connect with and say, "Oh, okay, that makes me feel." I can relate to that. I went through something like that. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. And someone's putting it into words. So, how important do you think it was for you to create this book, but in poetry form instead of, just regular, I don't know, like autobiography type thing? Why poetry?
Poetry is a gift that I've had since I was in sixth grade. So about 11, 12 years old, I had was pulled to the side from my classmates. I actually, in mastery scores, even though I'm an eighth grade dropout, and then I went back to school and then dropped out of college many times. Um, One of the things that happened in sixth grade was I was reading at a 12th grade level, so twice the grade level, and they pulled me aside with a few other students, and a retired couple started teaching us poetry, and how not just about poetry but the punctuation and how you put together sonnets and Shakespeare. And so I fell in love with Maya Angelou, and you know different Alice Walker, there's different writers and so on. So that started it. And then I was in AP English in my senior year, because I did go back to school. I did go back to I did get my high school diploma eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I was in AP English, and I was one of the top, graded students in that class as far as like our AP exams. Everyone else, you're supposed to get a 4. That's the highest. I got a 3, and most people had a 1 or a 2. So English and writing has been a thing, but then when you have a child, I struggled with trying to follow my dreams and take care of my dreams and promote my dreams and raise a child, as we talked about before, especially a young Black male in a very, prejudiced, biased society as a single parent with very little family support at all, and no child support, just intermittent here and there when it was demanded. So writing was a therapy for me because I struggled with depression many times in my life, even looking back when I was 8 or 9, trying to commit suicide to 17. And then when I found I was pregnant with my son at 19 and depressed, and several times in his whole life, even in the beginning of 2021, and I had to start seeing a therapist weekly, and I still do now. Yeah. And I got into EMT and tapping and everything else that kind of relieved the pressure valve on all the trauma and the things I've been through. So writing and, first of all, poetry connects the left and the right brain. You have to be creative on one end, and then you have to be structured on another. So it brings the two together, which is amazing. And it's also story. I love to talk about new stories. When we do EFT, you create a new story to heal the trauma. So story is the most powerful communication that a human has. If you look at marketing, there's the story branding where you talk about the villain, you polarize, or grab the whole audience polarizes or gravitates to your message, and then you tell them the solution, but you tell a story.
Yeah.
And people remember stories. So
yes,
I've learned in all my dropping out of college in different places, I've taken my filmmaking skills and storytelling skills and put it into poetry format. So a lot of the poems will grip you right from the very beginning, like, maybe I'll share a little bit, but they grip you right from the beginning. You're like, wait, what just happened here? What?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I have to reread that.
Yeah. Because I want people to hear it and heal, but also you have to grab people's attention. And that a business that the average attention span is like a goldfish now, 7 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I think it's like getting less and less as we continue on.
I always blame technology. It's technology and information age. It has nothing to do with our age, hunty. Nothing.
No, nothing with our age. So, I think kids, but yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. A lot of mental health professionals talk about the benefits of journaling and getting your thoughts out onto paper. And, a lot of times when I think about when I go to write things down, like, oh, I don't really want to rethink about it. I don't want to do that. Like, I've already experienced it. So, like, how important do you think it is, as with your experience and you're using poetry as your outlet, how important do you think it is that we get those things out of us, even if we're not going to do anything with them, if we're going to just write them and tuck them away or whatever? Like, how do you think that's important on a mental aspect?
I just hear it's better out than in.
Yeah.
Like, who is that? Like, Auntie used to say that, ooh, what's that smell? Better out than in. And
Most definitely.
So if we look at our systems, our bodies have exits, orifices where things come out, our nose, etc. Things have to come out. We eat, we put things in. So stuff has to come out. Same thing as we're absorbing all this information. Our bodies are keeping score and experiencing the traumas and the events of life, joy, pain. So it has to come out somewhere, and I honestly believe that my mom had bipolar schizophrenia because she kept so much in. So I was huge on telling my son growing up, hey, get this out your system. I don't care if you tell the therapist I'm the most horrible mother ever. Get it out your system.
Get it out.
Vent, let it go. Yeah. Letting go.
Yeah.
So writing and journaling and getting it out your system is a great way of letting go, which changes energy on the inside of us. We are energy. So if you have a negative charge around an event or a memory, it's going to attract more negativity. It's going to attract more of those situations like a narcissistic partner, etc., or a loved one that has, or a relationship with someone who has mental illness because I didn't let go of that trauma with my mom. So by writing and getting these things out of my system and processing them with therapy and EFT and so on, I'm changing that negative charge and therefore adding positive charges, positive experiences around it. Can't change the past. At the same time, now I'm drawing in more positive joy, more positive experiences, and my perspective changes 9 times out of 10 about me, because a lot of times, especially as we blame ourselves for the experiences and the traumas we've had. And I mean, it could be very clear that it was that adult's problem or that scenario. But when I write and I look at it differently and I get it out of my system, whether I send a forgiveness letter to the person or not, I've changed in some kind of way, and that's the most important thing. I've grown in some kind of way.
Yeah. That's I love how you are just so like breaking that down, because everything that you said, I'm like, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. And I think about, I mentioned before you said that, how a lot of times when we experience trauma or frustrations or whatever it is that we're going through, and how we just don't really want to like talk about it. But, writing it down is another way of getting it out without having to talk about it. And so I know, like, for my daughter, when she is going through things that she's going through, whenever we sit down and try to have a conversation, she shuts down. And I can't, it's like pulling teeth trying to get her to talk and like tell me what's going on. And so I want to start encouraging her to journal so that, and it's not something that I have to read, but just to get that stuff out, because it's not healthy. I can see a difference in her when I can tell when something's wrong with her, but she's not talking about it. And you go into this like stage. And so I know the physical benefits of releasing trauma and frustrations and even happiness. Like sometimes just releasing the happiness. It doesn't always have to be, a negative thing that you're writing about. You can also talk about the good things. Just getting that energy flowing and out of you is good. So I love that you're saying that.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember there was a time where I had a really bad broken engagement, and it happened in front of a large group of people, and my son was involved. He was about 5. And when I would try to talk to my female friends, they're like, oh, God's going to send you somebody else, or he had a problem, or just, basically like all it is. I told her, I said, if you're saying this is coming from God, then why is it, she's like, well, it must be if you keep hearing it. I said, not if it's 10 different things from 10 different people. And a lot of times, as I share, like in our mastermind group, women need to talk. We process by talking out loud. So when I have a problem and I need to vent, or my heart is hurting and people keep talking instead of letting me talk or advising and not letting me kind of bleed, let it out, get it out. So what I did was, I love Lisa Frank's colorful stationery. And so I got 10 journals, and I took 10 different areas of my life. My son was small, was struggling. It was like the pursuit of happiness times 10 type of experience that I was having in my life at that time. And so I just took those 10 different areas and just started putting it out, and I started addressing it to God. And I'm like, dear God, this, dear Lord, that, blah, 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 blah. And just getting it out, just talking to a person, whomever that might be, your higher power or yourself or your future self or your past self, and just getting it out in a space where nobody interrupts you. And then what I did was I could look back months later, years later at some of those things, and those problems were solved. But if I had did something catastrophic in the midst of how I felt to try to get rid of the pain or get rid of the feelings, I wouldn't have been alive to see, or in a good place to see. I might have been in jail, but I wouldn't. They probably would like, hey, can you send me my journals?
Right.
Yeah.
I need those.
Send me my journals. Forget the commissary. I just need my journals. So I wouldn't have been able to see that, it all worked out and I'm okay. My son's okay. Life's okay.
I love that. And you mentioned, you talked about your mastermind group. I mean, again, I want to talk about all the great things that has changed in a year. Like, I sat down before I prepared for this interview, and I was like, I have to talk about all of the crazy things that Tamika is doing. Like, that girl is she is like in Atlanta doing open mics, and like she's doing business coaching. I actually have the privilege of being part of your mastermind group, and it is something that I look forward to every month. Before you sent the last reminder, I was like, I feel like it's time. I feel like it's got to be right around the corner. When is this date? And then sure enough, you sent the message saying, I hope you guys are ready. I'm ready to see you guys this week. So what made you decide to start doing, this type of work? Because this is different from what you were doing the last time that I had you on.
Okay, so the mastermind groups, I read the book. I love reading. So there was a book I read years ago when I was an Instacart shopper called Think, Grow Rich. And it was by Napoleon Hill, and he talked about how Henry Ford, Carnegie, they had their mastermind groups, and they would sit together, and they're in different industries, but they would help each other solve the problems in their different industries, and how different backgrounds, different expertise they had. They weren't trying to steal your information or your intellectual property. They were trying to see you do well. And it was like, if these rich men could do it, why not us? And
Yeah.
I've been in different programs, especially if you notice during the pandemic, everybody was signing up for some kind of coaching. And I call it coaching because I went and got certified as at a master level of coaching. And I'm so glad I did, not because I was trying to prove that I need some kind of validation, but that I want the skills. I want to make sure that I'm really doing my best and I have the skill set to do so. I don't like to just say I'm a guru of something and I'm blowing smoke or I'm the Wizard of Oz. That's just me. So I noticed between that and taking different courses or mentorships or coaching programs, everybody was just funneling us solopreneurs, entrepreneurs with all this information. And then it's, you got to do it. It's a DIY. You have to do, you figure it out. I did it. I'm the star. I'm on these TV shows. I got this, and we're going to help you. And then you're like, well, I have this idea to write a book. And they're like, books don't sell right now. That's just your business card. Okay, well, I want to do a master. Well, then you need to have it as $5,000 a month and this or this. And you got to generate. And it's like, this grind. And I'm just like, this isn't settling well with me. Like, I add value, but I don't want to come after people like we're like when you walk into a cell phone store and they're like, do you need a phone? 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 I got a phone for you. I got a phone for you. You got 5 phones. I can get you 10. Come on now. No, I'm out of that. So all of that was hitting us from 2020 and beyond, because everybody was online and trying to figure out how they're going to take, how can I generate dollars? And everything was just here, take this course. No interaction because I need to create a stream of income where I can be on the beach drinking martinis and in the sand, and you're supposed to somehow watch this video on top of being a mom, on top of being a business owner, on top of trying to figure out how to pay the bills, on top of trying to keep the house clean. Should I keep going? On top of how to, keep our hair up looking good, and on top of trying to make sure we don't age, and on top of sounding proper and being, So it's just like, in women, if you look at the indigenous cultures, if you look at it as a model of the men were the hunters and the women were the gatherers, the women didn't just sit around watching soap operas in the village while they were away. They are, working together. They're cooking together. Have you ever noticed when you're getting your hair done, we just, I have to be careful whoever's doing my hair because I just open up like, girl, So
something about sitting in that chair and you're just like, okay, I got to tell you
I can literally let my hair down, Same thing, like if it's around the holidays and we're cooking together in the kitchen, we just catch up on everything. Or when you and I go to breakfast, or sometimes I meet Jenny Locklear for coffee, we can sit and open up about everything. So to have a collective of powerful women like you, like Jenny, like Bryn, and Magali, and other women that are in our group, it's just like, wow, we can actually sit together and have a different perspective on your business, on my business, and help one another and uplift one another. And it brings that network and reduces stress.
Yes.
Because the one thing that causes stress in women is a time frame, and it induces cortisol. Where if you look in that village setting like that, as long as, dinner's done by the time the sun goes down, if the child needs to take a nap at 12 or 2, or, the dinner, the cleaning or whatever, we're getting it done and we're doing it together. And we're just in that space. Yeah. So, like when we meet, that 90 minutes goes by like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because we're doing it awesome. Together, uplifting each other together. And it's a wonder. I remember I think I told you guys, when that time I did the one where I was at the beach, I got off, I cried. It was just so beautiful.
It's so awesome. And I just want to highlight the fact that, you have a group of women that are together and working to support and help each other. And I know a lot of times women get a bad rap for when we're all together. There's cattiness and jealousy, gossip. And, gossip and connivingness, but that's not how it has to be. And when you go in and that, I don't know, I love having support from women and having that feeling of being able to bounce ideas off of and talk about, this is what I'm struggling. What do you think about this? And just being able to have that positive feedback, and also that feminine connection, which I think that women need more of, positive feminine connection, especially for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and people that are just out there just trying to be the best version of themselves. When you're surrounded by other women who feel the same way, it's an incredible thing. So I just want to give you high fives on, creating a community and a space for that, because that is something that I know I needed. And I'm sure there are lots of other women out there that are like, yeah, I want that too.
Thank you. And I mean, like I said, you bring such an amazing energy to it, your creativity. We call you the social media rock star. And I love showing you off.
Aww.
I love showing all the women off. And I love what touched me in that class we had, or that collective we had that day, was you had one of Jenny's social workers, counselors on your show. And then Jenny purchased the art for that episode.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Put it in her practice, and they have 12 to 13 counselors. So it's on the wall where the counselors and the clients get to see it. And it was this beautiful display. And when she showed it in our car, I was so, because this is what it should.
I was speechless.
Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know she bought it?
Well, I seen it. I seen who bought it, and I was like, so I had that moment of when, I see the email come through, and I was just like, aw, that's so sweet, to have that support. And then when she, showed it to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say. I am just I don't know. And anytime anybody, says or does anything with my art, I always get put in this, oh God, what do I say? How do I don't know how to respond.
Just receive. Just receive.
Hello, beautiful. I just wanted to pop in here really quick and remind you that if you love what you're hearing and you want to hear more of it, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss next week's episode of I Empower. And if you're feeling extra generous and you would like to give us a review, we would greatly appreciate it. Those help bump us in the algorithm so that more people are able to find these empowering stories to help them. Also, don't forget to check out the art that goes along with today's episode. You can do so at iempower.club or on Instagram at iempowerclub. And if you personally feel connected to the story and the art and you would like to purchase a limited edition print that goes along with it, you can do so on our website. As a reminder, all of the art sales go to support the podcast and help us continue this mission each week of bringing you empowering stories. All right, back to the show.
Yeah, when I get comments now, I've been going out to these open mics and all this, and someone's like, oh, I love it. Just receive it, Tamika. Just
Just
receive
receive
it.
it. I actually seen an Instagram post because a lot of times, and you may can resonate with this, but like when we get a compliment, like our first immediate reaction is to kind of like not take it or almost kind of turn it like into a negative. Like, and I know for me, just an example, I made a post the other day about my hair. It's actually not supposed to be this color. It is fading. It is this crazy orange color. And I went out, you know, I don't go out often, but I went out to my orthodontist to have my top braces removed. And the girls were complimenting. They were like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. It's so pretty. And like immediately I felt the need to just be like, well, this is not the color it's supposed to be. And it actually needs to trim. Like, this is not what it normally should look like. Instead of just receiving that compliment and being like, thank you. I'm looked for like an explanation to something that didn't need an explanation of it. And so I'm the same way with my art. Like when people are like, I love your art, I'm always like, oh God, thank you. I don't know what to say.
And you know, this is not going to be in the book, but I had a broken nail, right? And I just filed it down some, but it was looking crooked. And I took a selfie and I was like, oh, that nail is in there. Ah. And I was like, nobody would know that was broken but me, you know. So most people are like, oh, you got pretty nails. I like your nails. And they're like, oh, but this one right here is broken.
Yeah, like so the post is like take that compliment and then shut the fuck up. Like don't say anything. Like just say thank you and like
It's
let it go. And you don't have to have.
It is uncomfortable. Like thank you, because then you feel like you think you're all that. You know, thank you. Yeah, you were supposed to say that.
Thank you. And I think that might be like where some of that like subconsciousness is coming from. Like, thank you, but this is da-da-da. Like it's almost arrogant of us to say.
Yeah, I was born like that. I woke up like this. I woke up like this.
Yeah, but take the compliment and shut up was the Instagram post, and I was like, oh, I needed to see that, and I also need to like actually do that because. Again, even though I've seen it and I know it, I still did it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Can I share this poem I wrote the other day? Okay.
Yes, please.
It's called Kenzugi is the art of the Japanese art where they break pottery and then they inlay it with gold and they reseal it together, and it's a beautiful masterpiece. So I threw that in at the end just to give you guys a heads up. So it's called Broken. Yes. Broken? I didn't notice. The only person who noticed you were broken is you. Honestly, I see you smiling. I see you dancing. I see you sharing love. I see you handling yourself and others with care. I see your smile. I see your style. I see your impact on others. I didn't know you were broke. I didn't know you lost hope. I didn't know you felt alone. But now I do. Can I be the gold to take the old, take your clay pieces, interlay them with gold, make it anew? Hold up a mirror for you to see that we see beauty, Kenzugi, a masterpiece.
Oh my gosh. And that's in the book, right? Like that's just a taste of the book.
That one is, I just wrote that one, so that'll be in the love poem books that's coming.
Okay.
But I just wanted to share that with you guys. It just fit.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it did. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God. And I just love the way that you read your poetry too. So I recommend doing audio versions.
You see,
when you have
I got
the time.
all this equipment. I'm like excited. I got the headphones. I got the Shure microphone. Yes, I'm excited. I'm so excited. I want to do an audio book. I just don't even know where to begin. So
yeah. That's like goals for me. Like I am like awestruck by you doing your poetry book, because that is bucket list for me. I want to write a children's book or a few children's book, but then I also want to like write a book. But it is very like just the thought of even starting. So anybody that has the brain capacity or whatever you want to call it to write a book,
you can do it. You can do anything. You just did your therapeutic art classes. Jessica, you could do anything. I remember when I first saw you on Instagram and didn't know you were Dylan's wife and you were painting pregnant. You are the hottest siren. You know, not in that kind of way. You understand what I mean? But you were just a rock star for women. And you can do anything you put your mind to. Even if you want to, we work together when we have breakfast and you write a little bit at a time, so be it. But you'll get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. I thank you for saying that, because I battled I don't even think I posted on Instagram or any of the other social media outlets when I was pregnant, because I had this fear of, was I going to be less relatable because I was a mother, which, I didn't really share much of my private life. And then, when I got over that and I was like, you know what, if someone wants to stop following me because I'm pregnant and whatever, then, then that's okay. That if I'm not, if I don't align with their, what they want to see anymore, then I have to accept that. And it's not, anything negative towards them. And it's not anything negative towards me. But thank you for saying that, because I did struggle with posting that. And I do think it's important that we try to stay authentic to ourselves, especially when we're trying to be on social media and selling, what it is that we do. People want to see that authenticity. And
I struggle with that too. So that's why it's good for us to talk, and they call them, Brene Brown calls them shame gremlins. When you go to write or you go to post or you go to design something and it goes, well, nobody's going to buy that. Why are you using that color? You look at your hair. You got pink and you got orange. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I freaking love your hair. And I'm like, and you have to get the pink highlights over there, But the shame gremlin is saying, blah, 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 blah. And she said, as soon as you write them down or you tell somebody, they disappear. So, and I have those quite regularly, especially with the writing. It was like, well, if you write this book, can you write any more? And then all of a sudden, engaging with everyone, I've got like 5 sequels or 4 sequels to it. So it's Into the Soul of a Woman. It's going to be Into the Soul of a Teen and Into the Soul of a Child. And then one of my friends chimed in, there's a man's guide to the soul of a woman. So I just got to, just keep putting it out there. You'll have plenty of work to do. Trust me.
Oh my gosh. And so for your book, is there a place where anyone who is interested in saying, okay, I want to know when this comes out, is there like, an email list that we can join to get the first dibs when it is available to the public?
Sure. Yeah. On www.tamikawells.com, that you can sign up for contact and an email list there. And then also I have a Facebook group for the exclusive book launch. So that's where you all have been giving me awesome feedback.
Yeah.
Because it's overwhelming. I had all these photos last year and I didn't know how to sort through and tell the photographer what I do and don't want. And you all came in there. I was like, this one, that one. No, this one, this. And it helped me narrow it down. And then the same thing with the book cover and all the different changes with the editors and things like that. That group, you are my friends, you're my family. And I need you, I'm a creative, but I don't like operating in a vacuum. And I don't think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. The gift might be, I don't know, but we all need community. Yeah. We all need feedback. And I also want to make sure that, it's meeting your needs. It's connecting with you. I'm being authentic, but I told a friend the other day, I'm like Tanger outlets or like Walmart Superstore. What you need? Wow, because it's just so much up in here. Yeah, so if you go to the sports section or you go to the kiddie pool section, just let me know what you need. You need some snacks, baby. I got you. It's in here. I just need to know what. Yeah, so that Facebook group, the exclusive Facebook group will, you get the inside scoop, the first takes. You get to see the videos and the audio videos that I create firsthand before anyone else on social media. So join that group.
Yes, I love being a part of that and seeing, and it also like makes you feel like you have a special connection with that person. You're a part of that journey, and you can say, oh, I voted for that cover, or I voted for that picture, and it just really helps you feel involved. And as someone who is a huge fan of Tamika Wells, like I just love to get and sit back and watch that. And I want to highlight really quick too of the fact that you are an empty nester and you have just been going for it. And so like I want to throw that out there for anyone who's like, what am I going to do when my kids go off to college or go off to a career or whatever? And you're like, do whatever the heck you want to do, because like now's your time to shine.
This is my son's former room. And I turned it into my podcast studio. Yeah. So yeah, I miss my baby. I miss him, but he's off,
Yeah.
handling his thing, and through tapping and this writing. Some of the writings, it sounds like he hates me or I have my regrets, but most parents go through that. And you sit and
Yeah.
think, especially when he moved out, it was 2019, and now here we are in 2022, and my life doesn't look like how I thought it should. And
Yeah.
you question, and every human tries to come up with a story to cope. So the story I thought was, what did I do wrong? He probably hates me. And now it's, you know what? I did well. And so well that he's not trying to come back. He might have his ups and downs and his struggles, but he's not trying to crawl under mommy's skirt to fix it. He's out there, doing what he has to do, and I'm really proud of him.
That's so awesome. Yes. And I'm proud of you for taking this time to really be with yourself and follow everything that like pops into your mind. If this is what I want to do, like you're like, I'm going for it. So you got the EFT that you can help with, you got the book, you've got so much that you're doing. And I think it's awesome. And it's a testament to us that like, there is no path that you necessarily have to follow, and that if you at any point you decide that you want to switch path, switch course, whatever you want to call it, like you are ultimately in control of that, and you can say, all right, I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to try this, I'm going to do this. If this doesn't work, then I'll try this. And so it's not always easy, but ultimately we are in control of the destiny that
For
we
sure.
wanna
And
have.
don't let
So,
anyone pigeonhole us
love
as
that.
females, as women, as, femme, as you identify as a female. Don't let anybody,
Yeah.
it is a human in period. Don't let someone pigeonhole you into a specific box or what society says. It's on the greatness is on the inside of you. The greatness is on the inside of you. And as it emerges, it shocks you. You don't when you wake up in the morning and then you look back at your social media posts and the impacts you make on others and your therapeutic art classes, you didn't wake up last year or the other day going, I'm great, I'm going to do this wonderful thing. And then it comes out and you're like,
Right.
oh, well, hot damn, what? Well, I see. Well, look at that. What is it?
Yeah.
This is friggin' awesome. So it's just like something great is emerging from the inside of you, and it's going to stand out and look at you and go, thanks. But you got to let it come out first. You got to trust that you're created as a masterpiece for great things, multiple things. And I'm also learning in the entrepreneurial field that as an innovator, the streams might change, the ideas might evolve. A catchword that they use commonly in 2020 was you got to pivot your business. I'm like, being a single mother, I'm the queen of pivoting, baby. I'm a
Right.
queen pivoter. I got that one. That's easy because what I found is, you become like water. And so if there's a rock or a mountain in your way, you flow around it. And you keep flowing around that thing till it erodes and you got the Grand Canyon. It's like, move out the way. Just keep moving. Just keep getting up. Just keep taking a step. And you will eventually erode or push that obstacle right out of the way.
Yes, that is some powerful words right there. Like, I'm just thinking, I have all these ideas and and I was talking with Dylan the other day. I was like, I have so many things that like I want to do. I just feel like I don't have enough time. And he's like, just do them. Like, just start it. And, you don't feel like you have to be at if you've got 5 different things that you want to try and everything, because you mentioned the therapeutic art class that I just launched for kids, and I'm like, I want to do one for adults, and I want to do like mini courses for people that don't want to do like the whole course, or if they buy the course and they won't like that, I don't like, I've got all these other things that I just like, my mind's just like going, and he's like, just do it. Like, you don't have to reach a certain point in this to not keep, to not start this other part. And so, you don't have to just have one goal in mind and only doing that. So if you have all these other ideas, like, go for them, like, start them. And,
I concur.
So, yeah. And I just want to say thank you too, because like I woke up one day and was like, Tamika, I have this idea. I'm like texting you this. I have this idea. Like, I need to talk to you. When you have like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
to call me. And you were so encouraging. And you were like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? We need to set a date for accountability. Like, what do you need to have done by this date? And I was like, okay, you're actually going to make me do this. So not make me do this, but you're going to hold me accountable. And, having that accountability partner is, when someone else is like, hey, so did you get this done? It's you feel the pressure, but also like, I'm just going to say, you feel the pressure of like not letting that person down. It's different when you just don't tell anybody about it and you're like, oh, I'll get another day or I'll do it next week. So it's nice to have that accountability person that can be your personal cheerleader, but also be like, all right, girl, like get your stuff done, like get
But
this done by this date.
I didn't have to because you already do a great, like you're already done. It's already done with you. You got your schedule.
I know, but like in the back of my mind,
and you're.
I was like, I got to get this done because I told.
And
Tamika
that's sometimes that's all we need.
So.
That's all we need, and that's why coaching and having accountability and a cheerleader, like you said, in your corner is just so important. If I didn't have a coach, I wouldn't have launched a mastermind group. It'd still be sitting in my pocket. And I read that book in 2018.
Yeah.
And it was something I was desiring to do. I think we even talked about it over breakfast in December or something, or November last year. Yeah. And I had a business coach, and he was just like, okay, so when you gonna do it? And it kind of moves all the the thing, like my nail's broken, so I can't do it. It moves.
I can't do it today.
It moves all that out the way, and we came up with a plan, and we launched, and you signed up, and a few others signed up, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do this. I have to actually do this. Yeah, and it hasn't been perfect. I wanted to have like a little app or community and a this and a that in our Facebook group, and it was like, it wasn't perfect, but it was powerful. Like I said, and that's part of what made me want to cry when I saw that she had purchased your art and everyone was connecting and supporting one another. It was just like, it is working. This is powerful. This is impactful. So
right. Well, and we're always our own worst critic anyways. Yeah. So you have these little things that you're like, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, while we're over here like, this is awesome. I love this. Give me more. And that's kind of how I was with the art class, is I was like, so I need it to be this, this, and this, and this, and I want to make sure there's no kinks, and I want to do that. And you can sometimes almost burn yourself out from doing that when you just are seeking perfection, and perfection doesn't exist. Well, yeah, hopefully my students are like, this is so awesome, I love it. And I'm like, but this is what I want to, and then you learn, next time when I release it, I know what I want to do differently next time. And then when I do the other courses, it's a learning experience. And so, yeah. Just, I just want to say, if there's an idea that you have out there and there's something that's holding you back from doing it because you're afraid that it's not perfect, just put it out there, because what you see as perfect is not what other people see as perfect. And you're going to learn every great person that has amazing ideas, they learn to critique it and polish it as the years go on.
Right. So. And this, what I'm sensing, what I'm hearing is, I am enough. I am enough. You are enough.
Yes.
Period, Pooh.
Period. That's it. That's it. Oh my gosh. I honestly want to thank you so much, Tamika. I meant to say it at the beginning of the show that this is actually the last episode of season 3, and I couldn't imagine a better person to have on and highlight their, the amazing thing that they have already done in just a short year, but also just because I cherish the friendship that we have developed over the course of the year. And I just, so I want to thank all my listeners and my followers. We've gained a lot of you guys this year, or this season, and we're just, I am projecting to grow and hopefully, tell your friends, if you love us, that they should check us out, because ultimately we just want to inspire and bring meaning and power to your life. So, but yes,
and share the episodes. I share the episodes with my friends. So please share the episodes, y'all.
You're my personal little cheerleader, and I if I don't tell you enough I can't thank you like from the bottom of my heart. I can't believe that I'm doing this. If you would have asked me a year ago, like, would you be doing a podcast? I'd be like, you are crazy. There's no way that I would do that. I don't talk to people. I don't talk, like, I'm just the artist in the corner painting, but here I am.
And it's powerful. It's amazing. And I'm so proud of you. You're such an inspiration. You know, you're such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so proud to call you friend.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being an amazing friend. I'm so excited for your book launch. I will be one of the first ones to get a copy of it. I know it. I think
Yes, he
Dylan's
did.
already
Yes, he
signed
did.
up. And I told him, I was like, I
Yes.
got to sign up too, so that we got 2 of them going out. But yeah, thank you for sharing with us today and just being a light for those that, you know, just needed that little spark today.
I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I want to thank my guests again for sharing their incredible story of transformation with us. I have linked their social medias below in the show notes so that you can give them a follow through their journey. Also, don't forget to check out the art that goes along with each week's episode at iempower.club. If you personally feel connected to the art and you would like to purchase a limited edition print that goes along with it as your own reminder to step into your power, you can do so at our website. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at iempowerclub, on TikTok at iempowerclub, and of course, YouTube at iempower. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss next week's episode of I Am Power. See you then.